Okay, any questions from members? We're happy to have with us Mr. Ting, our budget chair. Thanks for being here. Mr. Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here and taking us through this. I think just a few comments and then trying to make sure we're headed in the right direction. I think a couple of years ago, this committee was asking for what the governor's now come forward is how do we start to talk about closing prisons? And if you weren't able to come up with a plan, then we would. And I think everybody is and should be a little fearful of us coming up with a plan, since you're the experts in how it all gets done. So I'm a little bit concerned at the reluctance to move forward, because I think we do have a situation where we've been building capacity and sending more and more people to prison over the last number of decades through a number of initiatives that have not kept our community safer, but have just put more and more people into prison. And without the rehabilitation, when they come out, they're actually adding to the lack of safety in our communities. We have not been working with a public safety goal, but just this notion of locking people up for the sake of locking people up. So unless we're on a real trajectory to reduce the number of beds and reduce the number of people that we are sending to prison and in prisons, then we're going to constantly be chasing money after money, really, and in these programs. And I think for us to be able to make the investments in infrastructure improvements, we're always going to be pushing up against this fear that what we're really doing is facilitating maintaining bed space, maintaining certain capacities without then getting to our rehabilitative goals and really our prison reduction goals, reducing the number of people who are housed, and especially housed unnecessarily or could be handled in different places. So I think that's one of the things that needs to be looked at here. And I'm very much looking forward to the ability to come forward with a plan. And I think the plan also, if we're going to do this amount of work, if you're going to do this amount of work, because I know that the department's going to be doing a lot of it, I think this could also set up criteria for looking even further ahead of how we continue to keep maintenance goals in the forefront, but also how we start to identify attributes, milestones, changes that continue to allow for closing more prisons as becomes necessary.